Okay, look, Robert, I like you. You know I like you, and I think we could do great things. You're a talented driver, mate, but there's a few things with you we really do need to work on, don't we? Yeah, mate, yeah. You got to stop running in the back of me, for one. So, we're going to do a little bit of an exercise here on spatial awareness, okay? So, this is my space. Stay the f*** out of it. Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome to the Brazilian Grand Prix at Aussie Villain Racing. And today, well, obviously it's the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's going to be exciting. I do enjoy the Brazilian track, even if I'm not perhaps, well, we'll see how good I am at it, I suppose. Now, again, it's just the 1 week break, which gives us 2 days to play with activities here. We've got reaction training for I'll tell you what, he could use reaction training after his efforts in Mexico City, couldn't he? A chassis department thing or a sponsored promo. Again, I think we just keep investing in Schwartzman. Though if he hits me again, he's done, as far as I'm concerned. We have a message here. Oh, no, wait. What have I done here? We've got a message here. It helps if I hit the right button. Power unit upgrades. Good news from our friends at Mercedes. They've introduced a new upgrade package onto the power unit. Hopefully we'll notice an improvement, so that obviously is a good thing. Facilities, we have 1.98. What I do want to make sure we do is have enough money in the bank to to renew Schwartzman's contract, or if we decide to go with someone else, make sure we have that. Now we have 1,400 resource points. Now let's have a look at this. Now, hey, what are we going to do here first? We've got the gearbox that we need to change, don't we? So let's go and do that. Now we are eligible for a new one. So let's do that. So that'll be all good to go. Now, aerodynamics. Do we have anything on the car coming in for this one? We don't, do we? All right, so let's have a look here. This can be redone. So let's redo that. It's only a minor upgrade, but it doesn't cost us much. 8 days. It'll be here for the Aussie Grand Prix next time out. All right, so what do we have that we can do here? We've got DRS activation, which is just a minor upgrade. We've got the brake things here, which looks like that's a minor upgrade as well for drag reduction. So I don't think at this point in the season we want to be spending time and resource points on minor upgrades. So we've got the cable assembly coming onto the car, which is good. Excuse me. And there's nothing there new that we can get. So we don't have to worry about that. Powertrain upgrades. The cylinder heads are coming. We've got this thing here, which is a major upgrade on the energy recovery system. 700 points. We've got this thing, which is again just a minor upgrade. I don't think we worry about that. And that is that. And if we go to durability, we've got the... What was this? I don't think it said, did it? So we are running out. Now, the one thing I don't know the answer to this is what happens in the off season if we have points in the bank. Does it allow us to do more upgrades over the course of... So these are all the Mercedes upgrades there. Does it allow us to do more upgrades over the winter break? But I think given that there was a major upgrade here that wasn't going to cost us an absolute fortune, I think we do go with that, don't we? Only a 29% failure rate. We'll have it in time, failure rate, I should say. We'll have it in time for the final Grand Prix. And that, I don't think, is going to be a bad thing for us, is it? And do we go and do this as well? No, I think we save it. Let me know what you guys think, but I just think this is close to the end of the season. And given that I don't know, because I haven't played the game before, I don't know what happens, I think we're better off just leaving that. So that's the R&D development. We're not going to have anything new on the car, I don't believe. But we should have, well, I said this last time, 2 major upgrades at least on the car in time for the Australian Grand Prix. We can see on the development chart there, we're still third from bottom, but looks as though with these upgrades going on, we would overtake Alfa Romeo again and go very close to Alfa Tauri as well, and maybe even Alpine, which would be a nice little boost. And we can see on the tracker chart there, Alpine have taken a big step forward, but ourselves, Alfa Tauri and Alfa Romeo are all still neck and neck, which is not a bad thing. Everything here is fine with the stuff that is fitted. We should be okay to get through to the end of the season in what we have here, and we just changed the gearbox. The corporate side of things, nothing has particularly changed there. Contracts, again, nothing has particularly changed. We're going to have, at the moment, 1.5 million, which we have to get Schwartzman back. Driver market, I mean, there is an argument to say, do we go somewhere else? But I just feel like it's worth investing in Schwartzman, and if he can't keep hitting us, surely. And we can see finance history there. And a reminder of the standings, we've had 2 disastrous races on the Constructors' Championship side of things. Alpine and AlphaTauri have taken a big step ahead of us. And, well, unless Schwartzman wants to start scoring some big points along with us, then that is essentially gone. The season results, we haven't been bad. I mean, we weren't great in Mexico with that retirement, or essentially a retirement. But you look at that, look for that 10th, 13th, 17th in Singapore wasn't great. A 6th and a 9th. So we've been there or thereabouts for a lot of the races. The trophies, or that's sort of all our season results there. And we can see with 3 races to go, we've got our rival in Lance Stroll. He is going to beat us, but well, we'll give it our best shot, won't we? So that's everything there updated at the factory. Let's advance, see if anything happens in between. There's the stuff.
We've had the new parts come through the fabrication process. So, we'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
New parts are on. Those are the ones we saw at the start of the factory there. And with nothing else to do, let's head off to Brazil.
Okay, I need your attention. The tech regulations are changing. There's a risk some of our hard work will be undone, so we need to mitigate it. As soon as you can, I want you to look at the developments we have and tell us what areas you want to invest in protecting.
So there we go. Now that's what regulation change. We can see everything that's been completed. So there's a lot of new parts that are on the car for this particular round. Now, okay, so a lot of those may be, I'm not sure what they are actually. But anyway, so we've got dry qualifying and race, which is good. Now let's go and have a look at this R&D stuff. Yeah, aerodynamics particularly. It looks as though that is where the aerodynamic 6 weeks remaining to. Okay. All right, so we need to do something about these to obviously keep the upgrade for next season. So do we need to be a little bit careful on what we're doing here and making sure we're getting the right ones? All right, so I think, well, obviously we're not going to be upgrading many more parts of the car. It's going to be adapting the parts that we already do have, it looks like. Oh, we've unlocked a Steam achievement there. So that's going to be all we can do. But let's have a quick look and say, oh, there's a lot, isn't there? And that's a lot of R&D points. A lot of R&D points. We're not going to be able to get all these done before the end of the season, I don't think. I wish we hadn't done what we did. And the suppliers' upgrades have arrived. Okay, so this is the Mercedes stuff. So that's a lot that has happened for them. And again, we've got parts at risk here that... Yeah, well, that's thrown a spanner in the works, hasn't it? Alright, I'm going to go do some free practice, get as many of these resource points as we can, and I'll see you for qualifying 1. Alright, so free practice is done. We're 13th, 14th, just kind of flirting with that top 10 again. Now, a few things to catch us up on here, because a little bit has happened off the track. Now, first thing is we do have some R&D points, which we can look to reinvest. You can see 962 right there. So I think what we do is we don't waste any time here, and we just start adapting parts. We know we're going to want to do this, so we'll just do it. I don't have enough points for that. All right. No, I do have enough points for that. That's okay. So now we want to go to powertrain and just adapt as much as we can while we can. So that is that done. Now, the other thing to catch you up on quickly is power unit. If we go down, this is the internal combustion engine. You can see, if you see there, how that is dark green and that is a lighter green. We are 59% worn. Now, my thought process here with 3 races to go is we kind of need this one to get through this race. The other 2 that we have is this one, which is 59%, so essentially the same as ICE number 5. And then ICE number 2 is 43%. So I'm thinking we need this one to get through this weekend to avoid taking penalties. We do this one in Australia, and then we just kind of pick whichever one is the best one left then for the last race of the year, which I'm thinking will probably be either 5 or 2. So it's a little bit of a risk to get through this. Everything else is fine. It's just the ICE that is sort of a little bit suspect. Although the turbocharger, we've got 51 and 38. Might be, maybe we make that change for that one. Yeah, so it's just the ICE. We've just got to try and coax it through this weekend. But anyway, let's get to qualifying and see if we can get out of qualifying 1. Alright, now with a short lap, we're going to have our first attempt here on the mediums. Just to try and get my eye in a little bit, give me a delta to chase when we get the softs on. And, yeah, I mean, this may not even make the edit, to be honest. We'll see how good a lap it is and how many attempts it takes me on the softs. But, yeah, we'll see how we go here. We have had a little bit of a... trying to find a happy medium to the setup between sort of the start-finish straight, which is long, and the straight that we've just come down. And then also being able to get through this twisty section in the infield here. So it's been a little bit of a happy medium, just trying to find the best setup for us. I'm hoping I've struck that happy medium. Oh, good exit. That's an important corner because you get a good run out of there, get a good run up here to this final corner. Sacrifice a little bit on the entrance to make sure we get a good exit, as not the greatest exit we could have got. But let's see what this medium lap looks like when we get to the start-finish line here. Open the DRS. And it could be decent, actually. 196. Alright, a quick turnaround now. We've got 3 minutes, so we've got enough time to do 2 laps here if we need to. Hopefully, we're going to nail it on the first one. Alright, that's better. That's better. That's much, much better. Gained about 3/10 through that first little section. Four tenths up now. Now I've got to get this infield section right. Very easy to get it wrong. Still only about 3/4 tenths up, which is a little bit disappointing actually. Six tenths now. Big run down the straight. We're already... We only need to pick up one spot here, so 6 tenths should be enough to get us into Q2. We go 10th. Very nice. So we finished the session in 14th, which to be honest is pretty much what we were doing in free practice. We're ahead of Ocon, which is a nice place to be. Stroll is ahead of us. Is that attainable? 3/10? Maybe it is. Schwartzman got P18 there. We can see everybody else that we've beaten. So let's go on to Q2. I think we'll do well to get out of this session. 10th is about 4 tenths away. So it's doable, but it'll be a hell of a lap, won't it? Alright, so here we go. Brand new set of tyres on. We're currently P15. So we've dropped the spot from Q1 down to 3rd. Stuffed that up. Do we abort? We're already behind. We'll keep going with it. We might abort this one though. Not only going to cost us this lap, but it's going to cost us next lap. Now, thankfully, it's not too much of a run down from the finish line there down to the first corner. So that was already better. We're still P15, so we haven't moved up anyway. We might be a little bit iffy on battery power, but we should get a lap in. Just haven't quite got that cornered, have I, in Q2? Better exit. 3/4 tenths up. Now, of course, the issue we have here is that given how old these tyres are, we're not going to want to do much better and get into Q3 on this set. And that's 11th. So 11th would have been the perfect scenario. Instead, it's free practice all over again. We've got in 13th, which is what we've been doing, as I said, in free practice. We've beaten both the Alpines, but we're behind both the AlphaTauris. We're within a second of the fastest time, though, so that's a positive. But we're done. There might be some penalties. Maybe we can move into the top 10 once that's done. Let's check the grid and go do this race.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Norris, Ricciardo, Max Verstappen and Leclerc, Perez, Stroll, Gasly and Oldtimer, Ocon, Giovinazzi, Kimi Raikkonen and Schwartzman, Sainz, Russell, Yuki Tsunoda. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Fernando Alonso. Latifi, Mazepin, Vettel and Mick Schumacher. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
So, inside the top 10, the only thing that could maybe stop us is Schwartzman, isn't it? That being the case, I think we just go with the normal setup. We'll go medium to soft. It's an 18-lap race, so we'll take some petrol out. And, yeah, relatively straightforward, hopefully. Maybe even move forward a little bit off the start line and then just try and keep everybody behind us. But, yeah, let's go do this. So here we go for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Inside the top 10, our rival Lance Stroll in front of us. And compared to Stroll, we've got a really good start. He tries to stop us, but we're not being denied. Up the inside we go, late on the brakes. Can we get another position? Gasly turns in on us. A little bit rude. Gets Stroll up the inside again, but we've got the inside to turn 3. That should be enough to see Stroll off. But now we've got what looks like an Alfa Romeo. It is Giovinazzi behind us. Can we just force him to the outside? We've got the inside line, a double whatever corner that is, and Giovinazzi does indeed lose out again to Lance Stroll. And that's P9, which is a nice place to be, isn't it? And, of course, ahead of our rival in Stroll. Duck back on board here. Now, you'll notice that Gasly is on the mediums. So he's going for the Aussie Villain strategy, apparently, of inverting the tyres. So, well, if he's holding on to the front, if we can hold on to him, then we might be in an okay place. But you would think on the soft tyres, we might be every chance of getting past him. But we come round to complete the first lap. It is a short lap here at Brazil, isn't it? It's a track that is, well, it's just getting shorter and shorter each year. But a long front straight. DRS zone is at that red sign back there. But we've got a couple of laps to go before we have to worry about that. But what we would like to do is either get a second on Stroll or stay within a second on Gasly to get the DRS and protect ourselves. There's a little bit of a train behind us, and we have lost touch with Gasly. Cut back on board here. Stroll's got a bit of a run. You can see we're on the overtake button, and we force him a little bit too wide, perhaps. A little bit of contact there. And, well, maybe a little bit too harsh. If it wasn't my rival on track, I may not have defended quite so hard. That was a bit of a Verstappen move, wasn't it? But we've kept him behind us, and I suppose that's the main thing. No damage to the car. And we go through this tight, twisty infield section. And we don't quite have that gap inside a second to Gasly. And this is, of course, our last lap that's DRS-free. It is such a long front straight. And then you get the second dose of the DRS after the center S that you really do... Well, you become a bit of a sitting duck. Not the greatest exit there. A little bit of wheel spin as we got the power down, but we've got a little bit of a gap. We're on the DRS. We're on the button, as you can see again, draining that battery down. But we've got a big enough gap on Stroll this time.
DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
But well, as Jeff has just said there, we are going to be struggling if there's DRS on top of the battery as well. The best thing we can hope for, I think, is for Giovinazzi to put Stroll under pressure. You can see the gap to Gasly's out to 1.7, almost 1.8 seconds. So we've got to really try and run him down. It looks as though he is losing touch a little bit with those in front of him, though. So he's starting to drop off a little bit. So if we can just get to within that second, we've got, about half a second to make up in the infield section. He's definitely slow, isn't he? He's dropped right away. A little bit deep there, but it's not too bad on that particular corner because you can straighten the exit and sort of make up for any time you lost taking the very wide, the scenic route around the corner.
Okay, we're monitoring somewhere on the ICE. Be aware that we will start to see a loss of power.
Oh, Jeff, why, mate? I mean, that's not ideal, is it? I've just been talking about this straight that we've got to come down. And we're going to be losing power. And I did say, didn't I, at the top, we are going to be struggling maybe a little bit. We just need it to get through this race for us, and it looks like it might be going to not be able to do that. We force Stroll to the outside, do a good enough job defending, but we've got another straight here, and of course he's going to have DRS as well, and we might be in very tough. We're on the battery, on the overtake button, trying to keep him behind. We again keep the inside line, and we're able to just ease him out and keep the position. Just, what's that, 15 more laps to go of this? Sure it's going to end well. We've got to catch Gasly, though. We've got to get within that second, and we're only 0.1 of a second away from him now. He looks as though he's really struggling through this infield section, isn't he? You can tell the difference in the grip between the soft and medium tyres. It's really showing. And in fact, we are almost within a second. If we can get a good exit here and onto that front straight, we're tantalizing. Oh, we're hundredths, we're thousandths out. We're inside the second, we're outside the second. It's the hokey pokey. We are just inside, and depending where the detection point is, and I think it's on the exit of that corner, we should have, yes, we do have DRS. So that is going to protect us from Lance Stroll now. And obviously it will put us in a good position to even overtake Gasly and move up into P8, which would be a nice position to be. But of course Gasly is going to have the soft tyres to finish on, so we're going to have to be a little bit aware of him coming through at the ends if we are to overtake him here. But you'd certainly, given how much slower he is down through this middle section of the lap, and now with DRS as well, you would fancy us to be able to take him in the next lap or two, wouldn't you? Just trying a little bit of a different line to keep some aero on the front. Oh, that's maybe a little bit closer than I ideally would have liked it to be. Again, just trying to keep it as close as possible. Well, we should be well and truly within the second, but as close as we can, just to make sure that we can get this done, because you can see Stroll, we haven't taken that corner well at all. Gasly's got a little bit of a gap. It's well and truly inside a second, so we don't have to worry about that, and we've even pulled back at almost 2/10 going into that last corner. And we pulled out a little bit on Stroll there as well. So back on board, DRS opened again. Are we close enough this lap? We're not on the overtake button. I'm trying to save it where I can. And we are indeed a little bit too far back, but we're closed right up coming through the center S. And now we go onto this back straight. And do we have a chance? On the button this time. It's not the longest straight. Are we going to be close enough with DRS? It doesn't look like we're quite going to get there this lap. So another lap spent behind Gasly, another lap that we don't get a chance to pull out in this infield section, I should say, assuming that we aren't able to find a way through. But it's very, very difficult. If you just hold the inside line on these corners, again, have a little bit of a lunge, thinking about a move, but in the end we just kind of lose out. Stroll having a look up the inside, but we'll get a better exit than him, so nothing too... Oh, a little bit of wheel spin on the exit there. So we just have to be patient and wait for the front straight again. You can see not good coming off that corner, are we? As Gasly drives away despite his older medium tyres. But we're still within the second. We are much closer than we've been coming onto the front straight, and he should be a sitting duck this lap. There is quite the train of cars behind us as well. DRS open on the battery. We want to make sure this is done and done comfortably. In behind, we're going to have this inside. He's not going to stop us. We brake late. We just help. A little, remembering, of course, the first lap, first corner, where he showed us into the wall there. Or didn't give us any room on the inside, I should say. But we got the move done. And now we've just got to be a little bit careful. He will probably get DRS down this straight. Go across to block. He pulls out. We just ease him back across to make sure that we have as good a line into this corner as possible. Take the racing line, and that should be that. So we'll skip ahead now. Gasly's pit, Stroller's pit. We've come in early.
We're accumulating some wear on the MG UK. To manage this, we'll need to lower our ERS deployment mode.
So more engine problems.
Is coming in for his stop.
Schwartzman decided to follow us in. We're coming in a lap early. I want to try and limit the damage of an undercut to Stroll. Obviously, he's our on-track rival as well. So we'll go to the mediums.
Go. You'll be racing on the exit.
7 laps, 8 laps to go.
That was our last stop.
Let's hope we can do this.
Pit stops.
So yeah, Stroll had come in the lap previous, just to be clear. We can see there on the outside on the track, here he comes, and we have... And we did it. Stroll behind. Just managed to stop the undercut. So we are now in P10. You'll notice that Gasly's back in front of us. Not much we could do about that. He's on the soft tyre. He pitted, I think, a lap before Stroll did. And I think Stroll came in to try and protect himself from Gasly. We came in to protect ourselves from Stroll, but Gasly, unfortunately, got both of us. So that was that. It looks like Gasly's jumped us. A little bit slow on the uptake in the cockpit there. I am, aren't I? But yeah, we've just got to try and in 10th place, try and just hang on to the point here if we can. Those softs of Gasly, they've got to go a fair distance, although ours went less of the distance, so maybe you'll be fine. Yeah, I'm sort of clutching at straws there, aren't I? But yeah, we can see that as we jump on board here, Stroll is far enough back. He's not going to give us too much of a problem into turn 1 here. There's no one in front of us that... Or Giovinazzi is in front of us that probably shouldn't be there. So there we go. We do go back up to P9. We were, of course, in P8 before the pit stop sequence, so it's a little bit of a shame. But again, Stroll's got to run on us again to the inside to defend, easing back out to make sure we get a decent enough run at the corner. We hold the inside line, and yeah, he's not going to be able to pass us doing that, is he? I think it's about the 5th or 6th time this race we've just done the same thing to him. Maybe a little bit wide there, but I'm just trying to carry as much speed through there as I can, and if I just miss the turn-in point a little bit, that's what's sending us wide. But it's not the end of the world. As long as we're making the slower corner, then we're all good. Now, of course, we still have the problem of DRS and Lance Stroll, don't we? We do both have Mercedes engines, so we should be roughly even on that front. And then it's just a matter of trying to have a big enough gap that if he is in DRS, which we can see that he is, enough so we can get on the battery and just sort of protect ourselves from him. He's a fair way back here, though. Weren't on the battery for long. We can get a good run through the center S, a little bit of curb and a big slide, and that might hurt us. We get on the battery again a little bit wide. It's been scruffy, hasn't it? But I think he's far enough back that we don't have to worry about him this lap. Of course, on the mediums, there is just less grip as well. Now, one thing I haven't done well previously is adjust my pace, essentially, my lines, my braking points.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
To account for that. One thing I felt like I am doing well this time, we're sort of 2 or 3 laps into this stint now, is doing just that, is driving on the medium tyre, as fast as I can on a medium tyre instead of as fast as I can on a soft tyre whilst using a medium. And I actually think in hindsight, what helped with that is doing that first qualifying run in Q1 on the mediums. It gave me a sense of going flat out on a medium and what I can do. So it might be something, particularly tracks that have the short lap time, so you can sort of have a practice go. It might be something I look to do in the future as well, I think, because I do actually think I got a benefit from it when I actually went to race on the medium tyre. But we can see Stroll is rather close coming into the back straight here. Again, we go defensive. He's got the DRS open, and he is coming down the outside. We ease him as wide as we can. Again, same old story. As long as we've got that inside racing line, he's not going around the outside of us on that double left-hander, is he? And again, we come in here, just got to hold the racing line, and there's nothing he can do. Lap 14 of 18, so what's that, 4.5 laps to go now. And as long as we can keep him at sort of arm's distance so that the DRS doesn't get him by, then we should be fine. It's looking as though he's sort of shown us, well, another little slide there. He's shown us what he can do. As long as I don't make a mistake, we should be okay. Famous last words, of course, but you can see on the button nice and early, just trying to stretch the gap, and then usually come off the button. You can see there, just as they hit the DRS zone, trying to save as much battery. You can see we're down to single digits, but trying to save as much as possible for this second dose of DRS that he gets. We do regen a little bit through the center S, and again we'll jump on the button as soon as we can here.
There's 4 laps of fuel remaining.
And he's coming up the outside again, and we've seen this movie before. We've just got to hold our line, pick our brake point. He's looked for the switchback this time. Wasn't expecting that. It shows that he's learning. Gets a little bit too deep into there, and oh, he's hit us. Stroll, he's hit the back of us. Let's have another look from his point of view. I have gone wide. As he just hit the inside of the curb there, he's carried too much speed, and he's hit the back of us. Very, very silly indeed. But we haven't gained too much because Ocon is now...
That's one way to beat Stroll.
That is one way to beat Stroll. Now we've got Ocon right behind us. He's going to come in. Now he's on the super soft. Oh, that's... Well, that's not great, is it? I've got a little bit of wheel spin there, you can see, and unfortunately, only one car's come out of there. Have a look from his point of view, and this is completely my fault, driven across the road.
There's been an incident on track resulting in loose debris. Unfortunately, the marshals have managed to clear it up in time and there are no plans for a safety car right now.
Sorry, Esteban. Yeah, I think I know about that incident, Jeff. That might be my fault. Yeah, basically, I spun the wheels up, and it drove me across the track and into Esteban, which is a shame. We skip ahead now to lap 16, the end of lap 16, and the revenge of the Alpine. We have Fernando Alonso behind us, and as we see in a second, he is on soft tyres. We are on mediums, and it's going to be very, very tough to defend. You can see we're on the button. He's been catching us at a rate of knots, so I don't hold any great hope for holding him out. He's got down the outside of us, late on the brakes, and we are able to get in towards the racing line to keep him behind us. Now he's going to have the second stab at us with the DRS. We've got the battery on. We're draining it very, very quickly here. Again, inside to defend, fade out to the outside.
10.0 seconds.
And again, we're able to go very deep into the corner, keep the inside line. And you can see even on the soft tyres, there's nothing he can do. As long as we have that inside line, it's very, very difficult to... oh, another slide there. Very, very difficult to overtake. So this is going to bring us onto the last lap of the race now, sitting in 9th. Now, of course, Alpine are just ahead of us, aren't they, in the Constructors? Now, they're far enough ahead that a point difference between 9th and 10th is not going to swing the tide, but it's a point we won't have to get somewhere else if we are to overtake them. So for the second last time, we come onto the main straight here. We've got a decent exit. You can see Sainz is cruising up behind Alonso as well. We're on the battery trying to get as far ahead as we can. I'm trying to break the slipstream. He's coming down the outside. We're almost out of battery. He is past us on the final lap. He's locked the brake. Oh, we just can't quite stick our nose down the inside. We were both very, very late on the brakes, and unfortunately the scoring tower blocks it a little bit, but we had to let him go. And now we've got Sainz right behind us, and this is now for the final point. We have DRS, thankfully, because of Alonso. We blocked to the inside. The DRS means that Sainz can't get alongside us, and, well, again, if we don't make a mistake now through this infield section, it should be job done. A little bit over the curb there on the inside as I try to protect maybe too much. And ideally, if we can stay within a second of Alonso, then we'll get that DRS across the line, and that should be enough then to see us into this final point. But this is the corner we've struggled with all weekend, and we do just about enough to keep him behind us. Now Alonso is gone. He's a second and a half down the road. So we're not going to have DRS. Carlos Sainz is, but we should have enough battery. We've got a nice little gap. He's actually got Tsunoda closer to him than he is to us. And it is going to be a 10th place finish. Well, one scruffy lap there. I mean, we've got Ocon back, I think, there for his Zandvoort collision with us. Stroll was his own fault, I think. I'll have to see the replay backs. Alonso was flying at the end there. He gets driver of the day, but we'll take a point out of that, I think.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
Esteban, look, mate, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I mean, it held my hands up. That was my fault. Just spun the wheels up. You know how it is. You ran into me at Zandvoort after all. Put me in the wall. Yeah, but, you know, at least I scored points today, so you can be happy for that. You're not happy for that. Well, you'll get over it, mate. You'll get over it. And Stroll, what's your problem, daddy's boy? You hit me. So there we go. Bottas wins from Hamilton and Norris. We do pick up a point. We start where we finish. Only the one car, Alonso, getting past us, coming through from the back. But those soft tyres at the end, we just couldn't hold him off. And if we go and have a look at what it means for the standings, not much, to be honest, because Gasly moves ahead of us. Obviously, he was just, again, on the softs, got the undercut on us. But we were able to protect ourselves from Stroll, which is nice. And then, of course, he ran into the back of us. As I said, I'm not sure if it's my... Let me know what you guys think, if it was my fault or not. I suspect it might be a little bit like we've seen a couple of times this season, where the AI just kind of keeps to the racing line and doesn't allow me to sort of come back towards the racing line. But That's his own fault, really, wasn't it? He hit the back of our car and barely hit the back of our car at that. So there we go. We're going to finish 8th, aren't we? We're not going to get any higher than that. We would need a really good race from both ourselves and Robert Schwartzman. And if you're wondering what happened to Schwartzman, he did go backwards. He went from 14th to 19th. Got beaten by a Williams, which is disappointing, given that, you know, that they're behind us on the development thing. But it's George Russell, who is obviously a very good driver. So that is how the race played out. So Lance Stroll, we actually break even on this week. On this race, I should say. He had the fastest lap. And he's still got that 4-point gap. 3 races to go in the rivalry. Like I say, he's going to beat us. I just don't see a way around that. But guys, if you've enjoyed that, make sure you hit thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new, of course. And I will see you next time for my home Grand Prix for the teams. I guess home Grand Prix since we're called Aussie Villain Racing, even though we race in Aston Villa colours. Yeah, so that'll be the Australian Grand Prix next time around. I'll see you for that one. We have beaten our rival with just nice money in the bank. And yeah, like I say, let me know what you think of the accidents. Were they my fault? Maybe the Alonso one. That was a bit desperate, wasn't it? But in the end, everybody walked away from it. So until next time, guys, I've been Aussie Villain. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.